Most historians and scholars agree that Jesus really lived in the first century. There is almost no doubt and no debate on this topic. However, when it comes to who Jesus really was, people often have different opinions. Some call him a great moral teacher. They placed him alongside thinkers like Socrates or Confucius. Others call him a prophet like the Muslim, while Christians around the world worship him as God. We need to ask seriously, who was Jesus Christ? What do we know about him? Did he ever claim to be God? In this video today, we're gonna focus on two things. First, we're gonna see Jesus as the great moral teacher. And second, we're gonna see Jesus as the God worshipped by Christians. So first, let's start by defining what people mean by great moral teacher. A great teacher is someone who teaches about truth, love, kindness. A great teacher guides people morally. They help people live a better life. Jesus did all of this. He taught people about love, forgiveness, humility. He even taught people to love their enemies. One of the greatest moral lessons that we all know about Jesus is the golden rule, which is to treat other people the same way we would like to be treated. Even non-believers admire the teaching of Jesus Christ. So far, it seems so simple, right? But everything changes when we look deeper. Jesus did not only teach moral lessons, he made extraordinary claims about himself. For example, he spoke with divine authority. He called himself the Lord of the Sabbath. Jews know Yahweh alone is the Lord of the Sabbath. Not even Moses has this title. Jesus also forgave people's sins personally. If you wrong me, I can understand and I can forgive you. But here is a man who came and say, hey, I forgive your sin. That's a thing people think only God can do. Moral teacher will say important thing about truth. For example, Confucius said, I am a transmitter. I only explain what I have learned from the ancient. But Jesus claimed that he was the truth in life. Not only claimed to be the truth, but he claimed to be the life. Meaning if you follow him, you're gonna have eternal life. What kind of moral or wise teacher who says things like that? But Jesus didn't stop there. He went further than that. He claimed to be one with God and called himself the source of life. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says, I and the Father are one. This is a clear statement about divinity. No good teachers ever say such things about divine beings. He went further and said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Meaning if you have me, you don't just have the whole truth, but you also have the life, which is everlasting life. I don't think that is the language of a moral teacher that teaches about wisdom. Adding to that, people worship Jesus before and after the crucifixion. He did not reject worship. In Jewish belief, worship is reserved for God alone. Honoring an important person is really common to every people around the world, but worshiping them is a different thing. This raises a serious questions about Jesus' identity or his personality. Was he truly a great moral teacher? And lastly, I'm going to say something that might be strange. Most people who claim that Jesus was only a good teacher don't actually know him. They rely on books written by critics. But if you take time and read Jesus carefully, You can't jump to that conclusion so quickly. This is how C.S. Lewis put it in his book called Mere Christianity. I am trying here to prevent anyone saying the really foolish thing that people often say about him. I'm ready to accept Jesus as a great moral teacher, but I don't accept his claim to be God. That is the one thing we must not say. A man who is merely a man and said the sort of things Jesus said would not be a great moral teacher. He would either be a lunatic on the level with the man who says he is a portrayed, or else he would be the devil of hell. You must make your choice. Either this man was and he is the Son of God, or else a madman or something worse. In other words, Lewis means it's irrational to read Jesus and call him simply a great moral teacher. He's either a foolish man or he's the Lord. So lastly, the great moral teacher argument doesn't stand, because if Jesus was lying about himself being one with God, he can't be a great teacher and he's not reliable. And if Jesus had a certain mental problem, so he can't be a good teacher. But if he was telling the truth about himself being one with God, therefore he would be Lord. So in conclusion, you can always call Jesus a good teacher, but not just a great moral teacher. Because if you take time to study his words and his saying, you can come up with only two things. It's either Jesus was crazy or he was God. As C.S. Lewis said it, you can shut him up for a fool, you can spit at him, or you can fall at his feet and call him Lord and God.